The crystal glass shook slightly in my hand as I felt it. That split-second vertigo, the kind that tells you the floor beneath your life is quietly giving way. The penthouse boardroom wasn't just glass and steel. It was a monument to unchecked ambition, the sort of space where the city lights reflected off polished egos instead of marble floors. I sat at the far end, by the floor-to-ceiling windows, where the skyline of Chicago felt like it was holding its breath. I wasn't supposed to be here. I didn't have a fancy title. Senior Compliance Analyst sounds like the name of a library position, not a person who kept a $3 billion fintech startup from imploding weekly. And yet here I was, invisible ink in human form, the kind that only shows up when someone makes a fatal miscalculation. Across the table, Damian Cole, the new COO, leaned back like he owned every neon-lit building in the city. Hair gel tight enough to deflect a bullet, smile sharp enough to slice legal disclaimers in half. Damian didn't see people. He saw lines on spreadsheets, numbers to cut, people to erase. He glanced at me once, the sort of look that said, "This person costs me money." I've known this pattern before. It starts with removing access. Software logins disappear, internal wikis vanish, permissions get shredded piece by piece. Then come the whispers. HR stops answering emails. Department heads speak in euphemisms. And finally, if you're lucky, or unlucky, depending on your perspective, you get the text message that's basically a shotgun blast in 6 words. Pack up. No longer required. I didn't flinch when I saw it. Not a twitch, not a breath. Damian thought he was wielding power, not realizing I had spent the last decade quietly cataloging every clause, every memo, every hidden contractual anchor that guaranteed my existence in this company. See, back in 2015, after a near-catastrophic audit, the legal team wrote me into a clause so precise it could stop a tidal wave. Essential personnel may not be removed from operational duties without explicit written consent from board or designated executive oversight. My name was first, and nobody, not Damian, not anyone, had bothered to read the fine print. I sipped my sparkling water and smiled faintly, folding the napkin like a hand grenade. Across the table, Damian launched into his presentation, pacing like a caged tiger. His words were slick, designed to impress the board. Restructuring initiatives, efficiency gains, jargon sprinkled like confetti over the room. I listened, letting the board nod and ooh and ah at buzzwords while my fingers rested on the copy of the legal clause, folded neatly in my purse. The pivot came subtly. Damian mentioned a supposed staffing optimization he'd implemented that morning. The CFO nodded. The CTO scribbled notes. Everyone assumed their champion was winning. Then I spoke, calm as glass. "Damian," I said, letting my voice stretch just enough to slice through the chatter. "Are you aware of Clause 12.7.1b in the board-mandated compliance charter?" A pause, a flicker of confusion. The board, who had been nodding like bobbleheads, looked up. Damian's mouth twitched. "You mean the continuity clause?" he stammered. "Yes," I said, opening my purse and pulling out the folded page. I laid it on the polished table, fingers splayed, letting it read itself. The ink glimmered under the chandelier light like a threat made tangible. My removal this morning and the unilateral termination of operational oversight is a direct violation. As of now, all restructuring initiatives under your directive are on hold, pending board review. The room froze. Phones were drawn. Whispers halted mid-air. Damian's confident posture cracked just enough to let fear leak in. The air had changed. The invisible ink had bled. I folded my hands. Calm, controlled. The board called a vote right there, and every attempt Damian had made to streamline and erase me was nullified before lunch. The whispers from HR and legal confirmed it. Anyone trying to bypass Clause 12.7.1b would be personally liable. Damian's plans were shredded without anyone lifting a finger but me. I didn't celebrate. There was no gloating, only the quiet satisfaction of a system obeying its rules. Finally. By evening, Damian had disappeared into the elevator, muttering excuses about miscommunication and future alignment. His swagger was gone. The penthouse returned to its usual hum of polite chatter and champagne clinks, But now, the hum had a rhythm of respect, or maybe fear. I sipped my water again, looking out over the city. The lights glittered like the tiniest fireworks, mocking and beautiful. The contract, the clause, the years of invisible work, they were my arsenal. And tonight, I didn't need guns, threats, or shouting. Just protocol, patience, and knowing when to let the ink speak. By the time I left, the boardroom lights dimmed. I walked past Damien's empty chair, heels clicking like Morse code. In my wake, the balance of power had shifted. Not dramatically, not violently, but irrevocably. Invisible ink had won.